Temptation when you see 5.5, chapter 5.5, might be to panic. But don't panic, because I'm going to try to help you with this, and I believe you can do this. It's not as hard as it looks. The inverse of 2 to the negative 1 is 1/2. And the inverse of the sine of x is 1 over the sine of x. It's also called the arc sine. I'm going to show you the problem, and you don't know how to do it yet, and hopefully by the end of this video, which isn't going to be long, you're going to know how to do it. So cosine of the negative 1 of 1 over the square root of 2, and that makes me cringe. Why? Because I didn't rationalize the denominator. Always rationalize it. So I went ahead and rewrote it. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from the beginning. So the cosine of x is equal to y. This is the outcome of that. So to back up a little bit, what they're saying is, what angle measure is equal to 1 over the square root of 2, or square root of 2 over 2, which I prefer. Actually, this is the accepted way, universally accepted way of writing it. So we're just trying to find out the angle measure. So we're doing this. It means the same thing, and I'm gonna show you a little bit more in detail. At first, it's confusing, but you're going to be okay. All right, so what you do is square root of 2 over square root of 2 is, you know this is 1, and we're going from here to here. So 1 over square root of 2, and do the top and bottom by square root of 2. Square root of 2. Sorry, it's a little sloppy. Square root of 2 over 2. And it's the same here. Square root of 2 over 2. All right, so we just found it. We know the angle measure is 45 degrees. I forgot to mention that. And what did I write? I did this a little while ago. Let's see. Anyway, so it's expected that we change it to radians. So what we're going to do next is I will just show the work. So I change it to radians, and it's pi over 4. That's a solution. And I wanted to show you a little bit more detail, I guess. With inverse functions, which we know how to do. Here, let me show you this just for a couple more moments, because I think I went over it a little bit too quickly. There's the answer. And then if we do an inverse function, what we do is switch up the x and the y, if they ask you to do this. And we did that. And so what we have to do from here, we switch up the x and the y. I try to color code it to make it clear. Hopefully that helps. And to get rid of cosine, so now we're trying to solve for y. We're trying to isolate the y. To get rid of cosine, we have to multiply it by cosine to the negative 1. And what you do on one side, you do to the other. Cosine to the negative 1 of x, and y is equal to cosine to the negative 1 of x. So if they give you a value, then you have to find out what the angle measure is. So we're going to back up to the beginning, which is here. We're going to back up to the original problem. And honestly, I believe I keep being critical of your textbook, but the textbook really doesn't clear this up very much. So I'm going to try to give you as much support as I can. But think of it this way. Put the cosine over here of theta. Actually, I'm going to write this down. So what you're trying to do is find out the cosine. This means here, the cosine of what angle measure gives you the square root of 2 over 2. That's how this works. And I hope that helps. Please don't be intimidated, because I believe it's not as difficult of a unit as it might appear to be. Thank you.